Hey y'all, we should talk a little bit about kangaroo courts, conservatorships, and misperceptions, gross misperceptions, alright? Because I've been watching my wife, Amber Lynn Franklin Chafani, bang her head against the wall just to be free, normal, and independent. Her final thing, she's got a driving permit already. She's married. She's been holding that down. And the final thing is just being able to control her own money, right? To be her own conservator. She's like Britney Spears, like that, fighting for just to be free from the constraints of the court, right? To finally be free, because she's been under it all of her life, you see. And, because, well, I guess it'd be nice to her to have the option. She may never do it, but it'd be nice to her to have the option. She just wants to take a trip for a month or something and be gone. Like, say, visiting people in Florida or Kentucky or somewhere, right? Just go stay with some family somewhere for a couple weeks or something. And not have to worry about being tied to this little town. And, I can empathize with that, right? I'm down with that. I've been all about empowering her ever since we got together. And it almost seems like it's retaliation for me saying something about her not being able to get a proper ruling for just getting dismissed. As well, first of all, let me say that I have gone out of my way to be the opposite of exploitative to my wife. In every way. And when we got married, they took $500 of my grant, in excess of $500 of my grant, plus my food stamps. And they dumped an extra $300 on her if you count the extra food stamps she gets. So there's still, we're not getting $200 of what we're entitled to at this point. Because we're both entitled to $613 or some shit like that from our primary grant. All right, so, and it's like I tried to get this fixed when we got married, and the only options they give me is either get divorced, annul your marriage to get your shit fixed back, or just regard it as community property, which is what they did when they gave her the lion's share, and she's like the head of the household. Well, then it means that the head of the household is not actually either one of us. It's a conservator, you see, because she has a conservator. So I don't even have the power to pay my own rent from my own bank account like I did before she came. And when she moved in with me, I paid her rent and for everything for the first 3 or 4 months. Her money was just extra money, mad money, blow out your ass money. It was the only time in her life she actually had a life like that where she could just spend her money on dumb shit. For the first 3 months, you see, that we were together. So it's like, there's been no exploitative mentality. And then January 14th of 2020, she had a court date for her conservator on Zoom. And there was some stuff going on. It didn't look like our marriage was going to make it, like we were going to still be together till now. I was asleep in the other room. And she was having her little court date while I was asleep. Nobody bothered to wake me up ahead of time so I could wipe the slobber from my face, the boogers from my eyes, anything like that. So it's like, hey, man, come in here and talk to the judge about being my conservator. Because, well, he'll appoint you as my conservator, but he won't appoint me. So it's like, well, for one, her brothers and her dad and everybody in her family was getting notified of everything that happened in court. Plus, they were probably attending via Zoom because they knew about the court date. So I would have been coming in there right out of bed like John Wayne, yippity-doo-dah, ride my pony up into the other room. And, it's like I didn't want to be her conservator at that point because I didn't know we were going to stay together, and I'm not exploitative, So I've been all about the mentality that, hey, if you're all about your ex-boyfriend, you want to go back to him, then by all means go, Don't hang out with me, if you want to be with somebody else. That mentality, that's who I am. We'll get a divorce, I'll get my full grant back, which is $700 and some dollars. And it's not about the money. Recently it came to my attention because she experienced a kangaroo court experience where her shit was just dismissed. Nobody even gave her any consideration in court on record at all, because she didn't have something different from somebody medical. Well, then she goes and tries to, I said something about it, so this is the retaliation. She goes and tries to get people to, pony up, say something on her behalf, because, well, she can't handle their money properly if nobody else is involved, no fucking hobos and shit, right? If it's just left to her to handle her money, she could do it. If nobody else is exploitative around her, parasitical, trying to, get money from her, you see. So I'm all for her being her own conservator. She's going to be like with me, where I can protect her from the exploitative mentality, right? But I'm not for me being her conservator, because, well, then that ties her to me. If she decides, well, okay, we're parting ways and we're getting a divorce, okay, well, then she's stuck having to deal with me. So yeah, I didn't want to attend this court thing over Zoom. It was just too big of a can of worms too soon. We had only known each other and been married for 4 months at this point? 3 months? Let's see, October, November, December, into January, 3 months. And that's just too soon for me to assume that level of responsibility. Getting married to somebody is one thing, because that can just be annulled or taken care of with a divorce in 3 months. The other thing is something that I didn't need to be involved in at that point. So it's like, okay, it went from that, where, okay, hey, wow, you should be a conservator, to now there's the mentality when, the doctors are trying to, talk to the conservator, and trying to submit shit to the court so that she can actually become her own conservator. They're supposedly don't want her to be her own conservator because they think I'm trying to get her money. Okay, well, wait a minute. For one, she's getting my money right now, and she don't have no money, okay? She's getting SSI. She has no money, okay? I made more in a week than actually sometimes in a day. But usually a week I can make more than we made together combined in a month, okay? What we make in a month, I can make that in a week, all right? Working. I would rather be working, but it's like I am unemployable at the moment. Okay, still. I didn't intend to still be unemployable. It's just one of them weird things that happens. Your health doesn't clear up fast enough. So, yeah, there's this mentality that, hey, I want to get her money. Well, for one, $200 of it is mine. 100 of her food stamps is mine. It came off of my grant and went on to hers. And just $200 disappeared into nowhere. That's why I would like her to become her own conservator so that she can keep up with shit. When she had another conservator, that conservator told her every month how much she had in the bank, how much she'd spent to help her develop a budget mentality. This conservator doesn't do that. So it's like we have no idea if she's pilfering the money, of the rumors. Because, well, people spread rumors about people in this town. You don't know what's true and what's not. But it's like, hey, if somebody's not forthcoming with the information, then perhaps what you've heard could be true, right? You see? So anyway, for all the way up until Amber lost her conservator, she knew for 3 months while she was with me that she had $1,200 in the bank that we did not touch. That money was for her if something happened to us or we split up, something happened to me, or if we needed money for security deposit for a place to move to. That's what that money was for. We don't know if it's even still there. We have no clue. She asked to be told every month. She gets given a statement. She can't make heads or tails of it. It's not my business. So it's like, well, there you go. At this point, you're not your own conservator. And it's a good thing that, I got told that she wasn't her own conservator before we got married so we could have our premarital arrangement. First, it was a verbal agreement, and then I decided to back it up on paper, and we signed it. And other people have a copy of it. Our marital or prenuptial arrangement that until she's her own conservator, she's not entitled to any of the monies I make from my digital stuff that I've been working on for longer than she's been alive. Okay, she's only 27. I've been working on this shit since I was, for 40 years, man. 42 years. So it's like I've been working on it all my life. If I do generate an income from it, I'm concerned that with her having a conservator that's not forthcoming with every fucking goddamn dollar of accountability to her account, it's like I'm concerned that money's just going to come up missing. And then she also has to, get permission, ask for her money. I don't want her to live like that. Hey, you got $1 million, that you generated just from me and my wife. And you got to ask some lady in some small town if you can spend 200,000 of it or some shit. No, she shouldn't live like that, okay? She's married, you see? Now, if she leaves me and ends up back with somebody like Dylan, I'm all for her having a conservator. So it's like, that's why I haven't, been more helpful in trying to gain her own conservatorship because, we haven't been together that long, and I don't know if she's going to end up back around exploitative, parasitic people who would, they would just leave her in the lurch. She'd be broke, okay? Or they would geek her up to childishly spend their money and, she'd be living harder than she has to. So, yeah, I'm less than exploitative of my wife, and she has no money for me to want. I have access to more money than she has every month, and more money than she can hope to actually generate. So there you go. This thing, I take it as one of two things. Either it's just a gross misunderstanding, which, if you want to look at it from a positive perspective, okay, you could just say, yeah, it's just a misunderstanding, Or it's almost like a retaliatory maneuver to maintain control over her finances, maybe for spite or some shit, Because, if you look at the whole picture from the Social Security's perspective, she should be her own conservator, being as, part of her money is my money. The household, it's a community, it's community property. Now, I don't care. You see, now, if it wasn't such a kangaroo court, the judge would already had submitted to him a letter I wrote, saying that I believe she should be her own conservator. And that, when we had the option of getting a divorce to get our grants set back right, I opted to not divorce her because she didn't want to get a divorce, okay? So I stayed married to her, and also because she had some parasitic people in her family that were fucking with her. And I just didn't want them to get a win, you see? And as long as she's married to me, she has a stronger legal foothold for her own freedom, which, people shouldn't be in that position where they have to fight for their freedom just because of some people's classification of them, right? 'Cause somebody else might classify them as something else if they interview them for the same amount of time. You see, they might classify them totally the opposite of what they were classified as. So they take these quacks classifications on these people and they use them to exert control, you see? And they seem to get off on this control in these communities like this, where they don't want to let go of somebody and just let them go live their life. And, whatever consequences you face, you brought them on yourself because you made the decisions that brought you to those consequences, right? Do you see? So I would like to see, as long as my wife intends to be with me or around people that are not exploitative like me, I would like to see her be able to control her own money, so that if I generate some kind of real income from, all the stuff I've been working on, I can share it with her and not worry that somebody else is dictating what can happen with her income, you see? So that's where I'm at with that. I haven't tried to help her a whole lot with this because I feel like it's something that she should accomplish on her own, and I believe she can if she can get justice, you see? But she's not going to get justice as long as the perception is she should be protected from me. Really? For what? I get $200 a month. She's supposed to get $500 from me, but she doesn't. she gets 200.